Welcome to Hudson Raider football on the River Channel. It's 2014, and we're back at Newton Field. Joel Eby, Chris Larson, doing it again. We keep trying to walk away. They keep dragging us back in. We're here. It's the second straight year. We're coming back off a state semifinal appearance, and the second straight year we open the season with Minnetonka.
Yeah, it's going to be a similar start to last year. We got a very tough Minnesota school to start the season. It's really going to be a yardstick for where the Hudson program's at. I know that there was some skepticism last year when Hudson got down right away, 29-0 to Minnetonka, but came back and made it respectable. Minnetonka went on to reel off 4 more straight wins, but finished kind of a disappointing 8-3. Lost their last 3 games of the season, and then ended up winning 1 game in the playoffs, then lost to eventually to Maple Grove. But they're another Minnesota powerhouse, and it's going to be very interesting to see what Hudson can do against them this year.
So last year the Raiders down early. They lost a bunch of players in injury in that game. Kind of able to battle back. They never lost another game till a state semifinal. Why do you think that Coach Cowles sets up these type of games? I mean, we're not playing Somerset anymore to start off the season.
Well, I don't think it's really any secret. I mean, Cowles feels very strongly about, you're only as good as your competition, and he wants to play the best. And we're in a fortunate position here where we're located geographically. I mean, it's fortunate, it's unfortunate. It's fortunate in a way because we have all the Minnesota schools. We got the powerhouses so close that we can go get quality competition. It's unfortunate in a way because we don't get a lot of the recognition across the state of Wisconsin. But after the performances the last 2 years, Hudson's not going to sneak up on anybody.
So the Raiders with a new cast of characters, but a couple of names and faces that were recognized from last year. John Ucatil was the starting quarterback last year and then was injured, and a new guy came in, and the offense was completely a different offense than what we've seen. He's back under center this year.
Yeah, Landry Otten came in and did a great job, really ignited that passing attack. I think we're going to see a lot more of that this year. Hudson's returning only 5 starters from last year's squad. They've got 5 returning on offense and 3 on defense. John Wilgren and Lucas Trainer are both returning all-conference players from last year. It's going to be interesting. I think, Hudson's strength coming into this should be their offensive line. 3 of those 5 returners on offense are on the offensive line.
Lucas Trainer deep to receive the kickoff with Henrik Weisemeyer, and another one of those names we heard a lot last year, Braden Marvin. When he touched the ball last year, good things happened for the Raiders. Kicks away in the 2014 season is upon us. Weisemeyer takes the kickoff and taken down immediately at the 21-yard line, and the Minnetonka special teams fired up after an immediate tackle there at the 21.
Yeah, it was a nice high kick which allowed the coverage to get down there and make a sure tackle right at the 20. So Hudson's got a full field to go here.
That experienced offensive line makes their way onto the field with John Ucatil.
You're going to have Andy Johnson, John Wilgren, the tight end, Madison Davis, all coming back. I think they moved Madison Davis into a tackle position.
And the Raiders will start with a run up the middle, their bread and butter play. Last year was Dayton Diemel stepping in as a sophomore, making some big runs for this Raider team after Malika went down, and now this year he will start the season as the starter in the fullback position. Pickup of 6 on first down. They'll give it to Diemel once again, and he's got 2 or 3. He's going to set up a 3rd down and short for the Raiders.
Dayton Diemel's a little undersized from what we've seen in the past for the Hudson fullbacks. He's only 5'10", 185 pounds. But he did have a good showing last year, coming in and playing as a sophomore. He's only a junior this year.
3rd down and short now for the Raiders. Ucatil will reset the offense after Marvin went in motion. And they'll give it to Diemel once again, and he has the 1st down. Pickup of around 2, needed 1, and the Raiders will move the chains for the first time this season.
That's one thing about Minnetonka, too. Minnetonka is a lot more apt to play their players both ways. You notice number 17 playing defensive tackle. He's also their fullback.
And it's not because they've got a shortage of players out either. They'll give it to Demo once again, this time along the right side. Doesn't find much, maybe 2 yards there on first down. Jacob Dahl with the tackle for Minnetonka. Second down and a long 7 coming up for Hudson.
This is quite a day of football for the Minnetonka-Hudson rivalry. I think they had 4 or 5 teams over here. I think they brought everybody from the 8th grade on up to play.
Ucatil under center, and the Raiders will go around the outside this time, and I believe that is Carranza, and it is, and he's taken down for a loss of around 6. And that will bring up a 3rd down and 15. Saw Carranza in a limited role last year. Had a pretty nice game against Shakopee, and that was about all we saw of him last season. Raiders will come out in the pistol now. Ucatil back to pass under pressure, throws a screen to Demo. Pass went off the pads of, I believe, an offensive lineman. Demo able to scoop it up, but it's a gain of 7 when they needed 15, and the Raider punt team will come onto the field.
You know, I think it was a good design play. I think it had some potential, but, you know, the throw was a little off target. Hitting the offensive lineman had a little bit of confusion there with trying to get the handle on the ball. You know, the strength of the Raider offense should be their offensive line. Like I said, we're returning 3 starters from last year's squad, and they're going to have to play better than that.
Steven Trapiccio will punt for the Raiders, standing at around his own 21-yard line. It's a nice snap. And the kick is away, but it's a short one. It's going to bounce at the 40, take a Raider bounce down to around the 31-yard line.
Raiders get a nice bounce out of what was a relatively poor punt.
So we'll see the Raider defense for the first time this season.
One thing, I did get a chance last week to watch a scrimmage up at the high school against South St. Paul, and I was really impressed with the team speed of the Raiders on defense.
Lucas Trainer, number 23, is in the far right side of your screen as a burner on this defense. And Minnetonka will start with a run of their own, and they don't get much. Maybe a couple yards.
Minnetonka doesn't have quite as big of an offensive line this year as they had last year. They did graduate a couple of kids, but they do have number 60, Sam Bixler, is a senior, 6'4", 286 pounds, anchoring that offensive line.
Braden Sykes under center. And they will hand it off again this time. A nice hole, but the ball comes loose. Bouncing around. Raiders have it.
Raiders have the ball.
Forced a turnover on the second play. Defense. It's Jake Niederhauser coming up with the football, and the Raider offense will come back onto the field on the Minnetonka side of the field.
Both teams had a couple opportunities to get that ball. It was kind of batted around up in the air. Looked like Hudson was going to have an easy recovery, and then the ball got batted around a couple times, and Hudson finally does come up with it. So the first big break of the game goes Hudson's direction.
It's a very nice hole there, but the Raiders put the helmet right on the ball and popped it right out. So Ucatil and company back on the field with extremely good field position here. And Braden Marvin's going to throw it. He's got a wide open Weismeyer down to the 31-yard line. And the Raiders will move the chains once again.
You know, Braden Marvin was a bright spot in the team last year. That offense came in, didn't get a lot of starts, but he got a lot of carries, and he did a lot in the receiving game, and there you get to see him throw a ball.
Broke a lot of big plays last year for the Raiders. He's got some speed. And Ucatil will keep it. Ucatil, a lot of room. He's got some room. Ucatil into the end zone. Touchdown, Raiders. Raiders spotted Minnetonka 29 points last season. This year they draw first blood, 6-0 Hudson, 8:01 left in the first quarter.
That was really a great design on that play. Number 42 for Minnetonka, Jack Burns, was totally fooled in the handoff, went after the running back, vacated his spot at linebacker. That gave Ucatil all the room in the world to run only had to avoid one guy. And if it's a foot race, I think Johnny Uchitel is going to win a lot of those battles.
There's a guy that very well could be all-conference kicker this year, Christian Bell, on to kick the extra point. And the Raiders take a 7-0 lead.
Christian Bell, he played a lot last year as a sophomore, and now this year only a junior, so you're seeing a lot more of him as the seasons progress. Kind of a tear in my eye this week, Chris, as I read the Hudson paper. There's going to be a referendum, it sounds like, for a new high school out down by Rivercrest Elementary School down on south of town here, and in the plans is a new football field.
And we've been to a lot of places around this conference and seen a lot of schools and a lot of facilities, and I can tell you this community's due for a new football field.
You know, one thing, I've talked to a lot of the older players and kids from seasons past, and they really feel a competitive advantage when they get to play at home. When you think about it, in the Big Rivers, Hudson's the only team now that has their natural turf. River Falls, they're getting a new field. I heard Superior, they got a new field at the high school now. They're not playing on that college Ole Hogsrud field anymore. So I think, I don't know, it's going to be kind of a sad day when they quit playing here.
Yeah, this field is gorgeous. It's grass, but this facility up here is really, this team and everything around it really has outgrown what they have for facilities. And if we don't get a new one, we certainly need to put some money into this one to do something a little bit more here.
It kind of gives you the feeling of Lambeau. You got all the homes right around the field, and it's, you got people out in their yards grilling and tailgating and stuff for the games, and it's just, like I said, I agree with you 100%. They need to do something, but I personally would rather see them just upgrade this facility, put in a new press box, some new seating, maybe put in some new parking or more parking, additional parking. They got lots of room here.
Yep.
But it's a long way to go. It's still got to go before the voters, and it's got to get built yet.
That's a lot of dollars, Joel.
Yes, 100 million of them.
Christian Bell set to kick off. First kickoff of the season for the Raiders. Going to be fielded at around the 11-yard line. The Raiders with nice coverage. Stop him at the 26-yard line. Xander Motu with the tackle. Matt Dilly carrying the ball there for Minnetonka. The Raiders defense wasn't on the field very long last series. Let's see what they can do here. Sykes under center, and they'll hand it off up the middle going to Jack Burns, and Burns is going to pick up about 5 yards on the carry. They'll give him 6.
And there you go. That's another example of kids playing both ways. Jack Burns, he was one we talked about in that last Raider offensive drive. Plays outside linebacker and fullback. Another one of the Minnetonka captains. Returning starters from last year.
Now they'll give it to Barnes, and Barnes stopped for a short gain. Nice tackle up there by Xander Motu. Third down and short coming up for Minnetonka. Send Barnes in motion, give it to Burns, and Burns is going to have the first down. Raiders tearing away at that football. Burns will go down. He will pick up the first down out to around the 42-yard line and move the chains for Minnetonka.
That's one thing that teams have not been able to do in the past against this Raider defense is have long, sustained drives, and it's only one first down, but.
Skippers with a fresh set of downs at the 42-yard line. Sykes kicks it around the right side, and the Raider defense stops them. Short gain. They'll give them about a yard. Wes Corum in there on the tackle for the Raiders. Ian Cody picks up a yard.
Wes Corum was another one that got some playing time last year, and then I don't know exactly what happened, but he really kind of fell off the map there towards the end of the season, but really coming on strong here in the first game of the 2014 season.
Sykes back to pass under pressure. Got his man, and that's going to be another first down for Minnetonka. Hits it out to Burns, and Burns takes it down into Raider territory to about the 40-yard line.
Got a flag down on the play.
I got a man downfield.
Oh, there we go.
So that's going to come back.
Well, in terms of breaks, it's Raiders 2, Minnetonka 0.
Well, we played over there last year, and I'm sure they got a few breaks over there. That's the beauty of playing at home.
You'd like to think so, but I've never thought that Hudson got too much of a home field advantage when it came to the officials.
Slow developing play, and sometimes when you have that slow developing pass, that's going to happen. A couple offensive linemen going to leave a little early. So second down and about 13 now for Minnetonka, and they'll come out in the shotgun here. Sykes rolls around the right side, and he's going to pull it down, and he's going to be close to a first down. Minnetonka bench looking for a horse collar, but they don't get one.
Yeah, he had him by the arms and the back of the shoulders. There was no horse collar there.
So that sets up a very manageable 3rd down and 3 now for Minnetonka. 11-yard pickup for Sykes.
Yeah, Minnetonka had 2 guys out there to block the contain guy on the right side of the Raider defense. Gave Sykes plenty of room to run.
And they'll give it to Barnes out on the edge. And Barnes makes the corner, and he's going to have a first down. Trainer forced him out of bounds, but not until Barnes picks up the first down out to the 35-yard line.
I think the Raider defense kind of underestimated the speed of Minnetonka there. He took the wrong angle to the ball carrier and no problem getting the corner and ended up with a nice gain.
First and 10 for the Skippers. And they'll give it to Barnes once again. Barnes sheds some tacklers, picks up about 6 or 7 there on first down. Set up a second down and about 4.
Hudson's defensive line is definitely getting pushed around by this Minnetonka offensive line.
There's hands on the hips down there. First game of the season. A little warm still. It's not a real bad night. The weather's pretty nice, but
Ryan Reeder, number 44, is playing defensive end for the Raiders, and he's getting double teamed on every play, and he's just really not much he's been able to do so far. There we go.
On the edge, and there's Motu once again.
That's Xander Motu on the tackle.
And that Motu is a name that we've heard a lot.
Yes, Motu is a name we're very familiar with. His brother played nose tackle last year for the Raiders. Elliot Motu. I know his parents are here watching the game.
Big tackle there by Xander Motu. Sets up 3rd down and long here. Skippers come out in the shotgun once again. And they'll run the screen underneath. Burns has some room. It's going to be short, but I'm guessing we're in 4-down territory here. 4th down and about a yard or 2 coming up for the Skippers. And around the 27-yard line, you can bet they're going for it here. Fourth down and 2. Raiders looking to send the Minnetonka offense back to the bench. Syke set to pass, throws it across the middle, incomplete. And the Raider offense will come back on the field after another stop by the Hudson defense.
And the receiver was open. Would have been a lot better pass than that. I mean, that ball was so far underthrown. The closest people to it were 2 Raider defenders.
The Raiders will come out of their own 27 here. 3 minutes left in the first quarter. Hudson leading it 7-0 over Minnetonka in non-conference action. The season opener for the Hudson Raiders, defending Big Rivers Conference champions, coming off a trip to the state semifinals last season. They'll give it to Diemel. Diemel sheds some tacklers, moves ahead for 3 or 4 on first down. Give him 4.
Hudson again going with that no-huddle offense we've seen over the past few seasons. Haven't done much out of the pistol or out of the shotgun in the last couple years, but
Raiders will bring in Nick Holm. They
beautiful,
fake it to
beautiful
him, run
pitch.
the option around the edge to Carranza, and Carranza's going to be very close to the first down.
I think it. Didn't get a great spot, but he still got it.
I don't think Ucatil could have ran that much better. They collapsed on Nick Holm. Ucatil kicking it out to Carranza at the last second. And Carranza turning it into a first down. They'll send Braden Marvin in motion, and Ucatil is going to wisely hang on to it. Nick Holm has come in for Diemel and seems to be a little bit off the pace.
Yeah, I don't know where the confusion was, if that was Nick Holm not knowing what side of the quarterback is supposed to go on, or if that was John Ucatil. I got to believe I'm going to go with Ucatil knowing what he's doing.
Diemel back in the game now, 2nd down and 12 after the 2-yard loss on first down. Ucatil across the middle, and he's got his man. Gain of around 9 yards to Jordan Carranza. Going to set up a 3rd down and manageable 3 yards here at the 46-yard line.
I really like to see him get Marvin involved in a little more of this offense. There we go. How many times have we seen that, Chris?
It's a tradition. Raiders run the old hard count, send Braden Marvin into motion a couple times, and able to draw Minnetonka off sides to generate a first down. So 1st and 10 now in the Minnetonka territory at the 49-yard line. Ucatil.
Oh, big hole.
Big hole for the Raiders. Another first down. Yuri Bronson. Pickup of around 15 yards, and that'll move the chains once again for Hudson.
Huge hole on that play opened up by that offensive line.
Take it down to the 33-yard line. 1st and 10 once again for the Raiders. And they'll give it to Diemel, and Diemel spins out of a tackle but runs into some more white shirts. Should be a short gain. Give him about a yard.
2nd and 9 for the Raiders. Ball's on the 33.
Ucatil back under center. Ucatil throwing it downfield. He's got Weismeyer down to around the 20-yard line. That'll be another first down for the Raiders. Put the Raiders down to the 21-yard line and moves the chains once again. 14 seconds left in the first quarter. Clock running. Raiders may get another playoff here. 9 seconds left. And Ucatil gives it to Marvin. Marvin through a little seam, and he's going to have a nice pickup there. Going to be about 8 or 9 yards. And that will end the first quarter with the Raiders knocking on the door once again. 2nd down and 2 coming up deep into Minnetonka territory, and the Raiders leading it 7-0 over Minnetonka. And Joel, this is a pretty nice performance here by the Hudson Raiders, both sides of the football.
Yeah, I think, other than that first offensive series, this offense has played as expected. They thought that the offensive line was going to be the strength, and on these last two drives, they've showed why they are. Been opening up some monstrous holes for the running backs. And a lot of the Raider offense is designed, it's a kind of a read block type offense where you're just trying to create a crease or a seam to get that running back through. It's not necessarily a road grader type offense.
John Ucatil with the touchdown about midway through the first quarter. A beautiful run, and it's got to be kind of some vindication for him. He thought last year was going to be the big year for him and ended up with that injury, and then watch this Raider football team just take off without him. Gets to go back under center this year and start off the season really playing well. He looks top-notch.
Yeah, I've really been impressed with this first quarter, both not only running the ball and running that option, but also throwing the ball.
So the Raider offense set to start the second quarter here, and once again deep in Minnetonka territory. This is the only team to beat Hudson until they made it to the state semifinals last year. Raiders rolled off a whole bunch of victories after that season-opening loss to Minnetonka, and I think they'd really like to see some revenge here tonight.
Well, there's a saying in sports, you learn more from your losses than you do from your victories, and I think that proved true last year. That really showed Hudson what they had to do, and they're doing it here tonight. Looks like they've got Grant Mara, it's number 72 in there at center this year, flanked by veterans Andy Johnson and John Wilgren at the guard position. Looks like they've got number 70, Madison Davis, who played tight end last year. They moved him to tackle.
And Ucatil will keep it himself. Now he kicks it out to Bronson. Bronson finding the seam. Bronson into the end zone. Touchdown, Raiders. 13-0. Hudson as Bronson scampers into the end zone off the option play and bring out Christian Bell to kick the extra point.
Another well-run option by Ucatil. And, this is really the offense that Cowles wants to run. This is what he ran in college. This is what he believes in. If they can get this, down to the way he wants to run it, it's going to be a fun season.
Ucatil will hold. Bell on to kick. If he puts it through, it'll be 14-0. Hudson just starting the second quarter here. Kick is up, and it is good. 11:54 left in the first half, and it's 14-0 Hudson Raiders.
Just to finish out that offensive line, the other offensive tackle is Josh Nelson, number 76. He's playing left tackle for the Raiders, and that's really an experienced offensive line. And if they play like this all year, I don't see anything keeping them from another Big Rivers Conference.
Andy Johnson named a captain this year, and you just mentioned that left tackle, Josh Nelson. That's where they went right through on his side there on that touchdown. He sealed the edge off pretty good.
I was kind of surprised here, too. I was looking at some of these numbers, and John Wilgren, who was all-conference last year, they've got him listed at 6'4", 300 pounds. And you're looking at him, sometimes you think of these kids are 300 pounds. You think of a little more chubby kid. He's pretty well put together.
They don't make 300-pounders like they used to make them, Joel.
Well, when I was playing, they didn't make 300-pounders.
Just a faint breeze this evening. I'd say our temperature's right around 80 degrees. For an August evening, we're used to really sweating bullets. Pretty nice night. A little muggy, but not bad at all.
Sign up for youth football. Come to the Hudson Boosters Shed at First and St. Croix this Monday at 6, or visit hudsonboosters.org to register online. Still needing more participants for the Boosters.
Talking about that John Wilgren, he's actually the son of a gentleman that I went to high school with. It's our 35th class reunion this weekend, class of 79. Wayne Wilgren, I'm sure he's in the stands here somewhere. Be heading up to the mixer probably later on tonight up in North Hudson.
Christian Bell to kick. Short line drive.
Fumble!
Ball comes loose, but Minnetonka able to recover at their own 23-yard line. Cole Hugo covers it up. The Raider defense has forced one turnover tonight, then another turnover on downs, but That fumble recovery early in the first quarter set up the touchdown run by Yucatil. Sykes will set up in the shotgun to start this drive. And they'll fake the handoff. He'll keep it himself. Makes a guy miss before he's brought down. Going to be a short gain of around 2.
That's one of the problems when you run out of the shotgun. You're already 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. That was basically a 9-yard run, and you only end up with 4 yards. 3 yards. So an 8-yard run.
Set up in the shotgun once again, this time a little tighter formation. Send Barnes in motion, and they'll give it to Barnes. The Raiders able to seal off the edge, and a nice tackle by Lucas Traynor. That's something we saw Traynor do a lot last year. Solo tackles out there all by himself. He's a sure tackler.
One of the most sure tackling defensive backs on Hudson last year. Looks like he's starting right where he left off last year.
3rd down and a short 5 here for Minnetonka. Send 2 receivers out to the right. The slot man is Barnes. And Sykes is going to roll to his right, throw it over, and it's incomplete. Looking for Barnes. Traynor with the coverage, and Minnetonka will have to send the punt team onto the field.
And that he put that pass where it could have been caught.
3-and-out force there by the Raider defense.
I know one thing, Minnetonka was really looking for their skill position players, quarterback, wide receiver, running back, really to make an impression in this game. Those are their core of their team that are returning from last year's. And so far tonight, they haven't done much.
Perry Duff Smith in to punt for Minnetonka.
Smith back to kick for the Skippers.
And it's a high kick. No fair catch called for by the Raiders.
That's a mistake. That's a mistake.
Tanner Hami stepped up to catch the ball, didn't call for a fair catch, and Minnetonka did the right thing, put a hit on him, ball comes loose. Lucas Traynor, luckily right there for Hudson.
Yeah, it was perfectly timed by the Minnetonka defender. Just as soon as he caught the ball, he put a lick on him, and
he won't do that again.
Well, I got to believe the coaching staff's going to have a little coaching moment with him.
I think the Minnetonka special teams just had a coaching moment with him.
Yeah.
So the Raiders will start the offense here at the 40-yard line. 1st and 10. And Yucatil will hand it off up the middle to Diemel. Diemel doesn't get much. Give him about a half a yard. And Yucatil back to throw. He's under pressure, finds his man. It's Weissemeyer, makes
nice
the man
move.
miss. 1st down for Hudson into Minnetonka territory. Weissemeyer down to the 46.
That is a Hudson Raider 1st down.
The nice move on that because he did not have the 1st down. Looked like he was going to be tackled a little bit short. Actually made a double move, ended up getting the 1st down.
So 1st and 10 for Hudson, back into Minnetonka territory down to the 46-yard line. And Yucatil will keep it. Takes it around the edge, kicks it out
there
to
we go,
Marvin.
Braden Marvin!
Marvin inside the 20, ball comes loose, but it is out of bounds.
No, they're going to say it's Minnetonka ball.
Wow, that is a really bad call.
He looked like he was out of bounds when the ball came out, but the officials are going to say it's Minnetonka's ball. Defender did a nice job of punching the ball out, but
no doubt.
looked to me like Marvin was already out of bounds when the ball came loose.
Well out of bounds, and I think the first about 4 bounces of that football were out of bounds as well. But nevertheless, Minnetonka will come back out on offense. Good news is they're deep in their own territory down to the 9-yard line. So
Boy, that would have been put the Raiders in a nice position to maybe go up 21 and really kind of a deflating turnover.
Sykes under center. And they'll give it to Burns around the right side. Lucas Trainer in there on the tackle for Hudson. Burns going to pick up about 2 or 3 there on first down.
I think it's really important here for the Raider defense to step up here and not give up a big drive here. Let's get the ball back, and we got 9:27 to go and counting in the first half. Let's keep it to a shutout.
Sykes to Barnes. Barnes
There you
trying to
go.
get around the edge, but he's going to be brought down, I believe, for a short loss. Motu once again with a tackle behind the line of scrimmage. Set up a 3rd down and long for Minnetonka, and they're not able to convert. They're definitely going to have to punt here.
Yeah, it's a big down for Minnetonka. I mean, to get the ball back on, what was another nice drive by Hudson on a questionable turnover.
Like to see the Raiders get a stop here and can put that turnover behind us. Sykes from the shotgun. Looking to throw. He's under pressure. He's going to throw it across the middle. Picked off. Lucas Trainer. And the Hudson Raider offense will come back onto the field after the Raider defense comes up with another big turnover.
Lucas Trainer showing that leadership they're looking for out of a captain.
Raiders will set up shop around the 33, 34-yard line here. 8:29 left in the first half. Hudson leading it 14-0 over Minnetonka. Looking to open up a big lead here with some great field position. And they will hand it off to Marvin there, inside handoff. Marvin's going to have about a yard there on first down.
This really haven't been able to get too much going since the first couple of drives up the middle.
Ucatil to Demel, and just like you said, Joel, not much going up the middle right now. The Raiders have been making hay on the edges.
Tackled by number 95, Anush Whitlock.
3rd down and 10 now coming up for Hudson.
3rd and 10.
Got to figure if they can get 5 or 6, they're definitely going on 4th down.
I think no matter what they get, they're going for it.
33-yard line, I got to agree with you. Ucatil set to pass. They set up the screen to Weissemeyer.
Go!
Down for Hudson. And Weissemeyer inside the 20, down to the 17-yard line, and they make our argument a little moot there.
Going for it on 4th down, a moot point.
1st and 10 now for Hudson.
I'm really impressed with Hudson's passing game. They're getting guys open, and Ucatil's putting the ball where it's got to be where it's got to be to get caught. It's those things are looking good.
Bronson will come into the game. Bronson and Carranza, the wings. Demel, the fullback. And they will give it to Demel up the middle. Demel's going to get 2 or 3 there.
Tackled by Whitlock. Whitlock on the tackle. Gain of about 1 on that. Brings up 2nd and 9.
Sam Welsh comes out of the game, number 81, the tight end. Sam Kraus, wide receiver, comes in and takes his place. Oh, no, we got a timeout.
Timeout by Minnetonka. That's their first timeout of the half.
So the Raiders will call a timeout.
No, Minnetonka called the timeout.
Minnetonka called the timeout.
I think they're looking at regrouping here.
Athletic Director Stephanie DeVos just walked by and said hi and threw me off there. I missed the timeout call, but 2nd down and 9 coming up for the Hudson Raiders, knocking on the door.
Yeah, this is a big series here for Minnetonka. I don't think they can afford to go down 21-0 to this team.
And you got to realize that both these teams were playing basically a non-conference game. You want to win, you want to play well, you want your guys to look good, but if you go down 21-0, you're probably going to start letting some other guys come in. No sense of getting your starters hurt in a game that's really meaningless when you're down 21-zip.
And, this is a game where you just don't want to get anybody hurt. And regardless of what the outcome is, they're both going to play games next week, and then they're going to go into their conference schedule after that. In Minnesota, they call this 0 week, so it doesn't even really count as week 1.
So 2nd and 9 for Hudson. Ucatil gets the play. And they'll give it to Demel up the middle. Demel's going to get 2 or 3 once again. 3rd down coming up for the Raiders. Going to be about a 3rd down and 6.
Raiders bring in the tight end again, Welsh. Bring out one of the wide receivers or one of the halfbacks. That's one thing Hudson does a lot of. They interchange their backs with their wide receivers, and they've got different packages for different personnel, and they just move people all over the place.
And the Raiders
we got
believe, and they do, draw Minnetonka off sides. This one's not going to lead to a 1st down, but certainly going to make 3rd down much more manageable. Should have a 3rd and 1 coming up for Hudson. Turn a 3rd and 6 into a 3rd and 1. The 9-yard line of Minnetonka. And they'll give it to Demel. Demel has the 1st down inside the 5, down to around the 4-yard line. So the Raiders will set up shop, 1st and goal at the 4-yard line. May see a heavy dose of Dayton Demel now.
Really impressed with the way John Ucatil is running this Hudson offense.
And they'll give
There's
it to Demel. Up the middle, touchdown Raiders. And the Raiders open up a 20-0 lead over Minnetonka with 5:49 left in the half.
One of the things that Coach Cowles preaches to his players is, building off what the ones that came before you have done. And, this team isn't last year's team. Last year's team was great. They went to the state semifinals, but this isn't that team. And this team wants to leave their mark, and one of the ways to do that is beat the team that beat you last year. So I think this is a big game, a big emotional game for the Raiders.
And Bell is going to kick it through. It'll be no good. So Bell misses the extra point. The Raiders with a 20-0 lead with 5:49 left, and this next drive is going to be pretty pivotal because if Minnetonka can't match this touchdown, it's going to be pretty tough for them to get back into this game here.
Well, like I said, Minnetonka has shown no propensity for throwing the ball deep. The few passes that they have thrown more than 10 yards have been woefully underthrown. I just don't see them getting back into this game with a big passing attack. They're going to have some sustained drives, and if they don't get something going here, it could be a long second half for the Skippers.
Yeah, interesting evening. I think a lot of people come into the stadium tonight weren't sure what was going to happen, but it looks to me like the guys down on the field knew exactly what was going to happen because they have pretty much mowed down the Skippers tonight.
And I think it's one thing, everybody talks about, Hudson lost so many, they graduated so many, and this and that. It's this team and this program has gotten to the point where we just reload. We don't worry about what last year's team did. We're glad they were successful, but this is our team. We're going to leave our mark on this community. We're going to leave our mark on this program, and it's just next man up. And you're seeing a perfect example of it tonight.
So the Raiders burned off about half the second quarter here. Nice lead, 20-0. Looking for their defense to come back on the field here and keep Minnetonka off the board.
Nice key stop here for Hudson. If they can stop them on this, not give up any points, because Minnetonka does get the ball back to start the second half. If they can get some points here, they could get right back in it.
Kick's going to be fielded on the bounce by Barnes at the 12-yard line. He's going to kick it out the edge, and he's got some room. Raiders finally able to drive him out of bounds at around the 48-yard line, and that was what the Raiders didn't want to do there. was give Minnetonka something to cheer about and give them a little bit of light here on offense starting their drive at midfield.
Man, that's not a good way to start this drive, but the good news is they didn't give up the touchdown, which I thought for a minute there when that return man had a blocker out in front of him, I thought there was a possibility that he could have made a cutback and got back to the middle of the field, but
Raiders,
defender for Hudson did a nice job of forcing it to the outside and made him run out of bounds.
Raiders defense has come up big in a number of occasions tonight. Let's see if they can do it here. Sykes under center. And they will fake the handoff. Sykes looking to throw. Sykes under pressure, and Sykes is going to slip out of it. And he's working himself. Raiders come out of there with the football, but it's going to be blown dead, and Sykes should have been taken down for a loss, turn it into a 5-yard gain. Pretty strong.
There were a couple of guys
man.
that had a chance at bringing him down, and Sykes is a big boy.
Second down and a long 4 now for Minnetonka. The wide out to the left. And they will give it to Burns on the draw, and Burns is going to have the first down to around the 40-yard line. Minnetonka able to move the chains.
First down, Minnetonka, first and 10. Ball is on the Hudson Raider 40-yard line.
First and 10 for the Skippers. Sykes will go back under center here. And Sykes is going to keep it. Gonna pick up nice gain there of around 8 or 9. Give him 9.
You know, and Sykes just waited for the Hudson defensive lineman to make the tackle on the running back. And he just took the ball out of his stomach and ran around him.
Second down and very short here.
Minnetonka showing a little bit of an option there of their own.
Send Barnes in motion, flags fly.
We got a flag. We're going to have motion, it looks like.
Well, that will turn a second and short into about a 2nd and 6 now.
Start called against the Skippers. 2nd and 6. Back them up 5 yards, back to the Hudson Raider 36. 2nd and 6 for the Skippers.
Second and 6 now for Minnetonka. 3:46 left in the first half. Hudson leading 20-0. And
reverse.
Run the reverse to Barnes around the edge, and Barnes able to pick up a first down and more, forced out of bounds at around the 22-yard line.
Minnetonka's done a good job of clock management on this drive. They've managed to get the ball out of bounds, get first downs to stop the clock.
Clock stopped at 3:26. Fresh set of downs for Minnetonka. Trying to get back into this game, trailing 20-0. And they're going to give it to Burns up the middle, and Burns is going to have a nice run.
Well, it looks like Minnetonka's offensive line has figured something out because they're definitely getting a lot more push up the middle than they were the first quarter and a half.
Second down and 3 now. They'll fake the handoff to Burns, and they give it to the other wing man there. I believe that's Cody.
Carried by Cody. Cody on the carry for the Skippers. Tackled by Koski. Koski on the tackle for the Raiders.
Ian Cody picks up the first down for Minnetonka at the 13-yard line, 1st and 10.
Timeout Hudson.
And the Raider defense will call a timeout. I think that's a good place for one.
Yeah, clock was stopped anyway. It was a good time to regroup because you really do not, if you can all help it, you do not want to give up a touchdown here.
It's definitely the longest sustained drive and the furthest trip down the field so far tonight for Minnetonka.
It was all set up by that, kick return.
.244 left in the first half. Raiders pitching a shutout so far. I'd like to keep Minnetonka off the board. A reminder, next week's game against Chanhassen, right back here at Newton Field, but don't show up on Friday because you won't see a football game. It's on Thursday night, August 28th, Newton Field, the Hudson Raiders' final non-conference game of the slate. They'll host Chanhassen.
Please, everybody pay attention. We got some special announcements, the band, helmet blitz.
A Thursday game to start the season, or the second game of the season.
Had that last year, too. They'll give it to Burns once
touchdown.
again. Burns, big opening.
Oh, looks like we're gonna have a holding flag though. Looks like that's gonna bring that back.
So Burns, I believe, able to get a first down there, but it's going to back Minnetonka back. So much for the first down. It's going to be first and long coming up here for Minnetonka. Raiders will open their conference schedule on the road September 5th at Superior. Long road trip, catch the game at the River Channel if you can't make the trip.
Oh.
They'll run it around the edge with Cody.
That's a defender had a chance to make a tackle in the backfield. So would have made it basically 2nd and 20 again, and couldn't quite wrap his hands around his ankles.
2nd down and 16 coming up. Definite 4-down territory. Unless Minnetonka wants to kick a field goal. Sykes looking to throw it. And he'll tuck it under and run, but drilled down there by Motu. And Motu's having himself a little highlight reel game this evening.
Yeah, Xander Motu. Got some playing time right at the end of the season. One of the things, too, when you make that long run into the playoffs is you get a lot more extra practice time. So it gives all those, juniors and sophomores that much more playing time with the varsity.
3rd down and 15 coming up. 1:25 left in the first half. Hudson leads it 20-0. Minnetonka looking to get on the board. Sykes will throw it into the end zone, and it's going to be incomplete. 4th down coming up. Let's see what Minnetonka does. Looks like they're going to send the special teams in, and this is one of those situations where if you want to get your special teams some work in a game time situation, 3 points doesn't mean a lot here, but it gives the opportunity for your special teams to get some work against an opponent.
Be close to a 45-yard field goal.
Yeah, 35-yarder. Minnetonka will call a timeout here to give themselves a moment to get situated. 1:13 left in the first half. Raiders will have some time here. Probably depend a lot on what they do with the kickoff here if they get the ball back. What they do with it anyway.
So please pay attention to halftime. We got quite a halftime show.
Well, like you said, I think it's a good opportunity to find out what kind of leg your kicker has in a game that really doesn't mean anything because you may need this later in the season. They've got to play the big dogs in Minnesota as far, they got Eden Prairie and Wayzata in their conference along with Hopkins. There are some other Minnesota-Wisconsin matchups tonight. Menomony's actually playing I knew who the team was. Now it's just slipped my mind, but I know Superior's playing Hopkins, and Menomony's playing Chaska.
Perry Duff Smith to kick it, and
he's got the leg.
I think he's got it. Looks good to me, and it's good to the officials. So Minnetonka gets on the board with 1:08 left in the first half. It's Hudson 20, Minnetonka 3. I don't know how many teams in their conference have grass, but opportunity to kick on grass for them too.
Yeah. I would guess in that conference.
Probably
there
not many, yeah.
I think a lot of those are all new schools, and although Hopkins is a little bit older, but I still think they've got a turf field.
The Raiders will return a kick for the first time since the opening kickoff of the game. I would guess if they can't do much with it, Coach Cowles will probably just try to run the clock out. If they can get some yards here, maybe he'll take a shot at it.
Well, Minnetonka's done a nice job on their kick coverage with it. Their kicker does such a nice job of kicking it so high, and it allows your kick coverage to get down there. And I got to believe that after the way that last punt went, that the Raider receive men are going to be very conscious of where the defenders are.
Lucas Trainer, Weissemeyer, and Hami back to receive. Barry Duff Smith the kick. High deep kick going to be fielded by Trainer at around the 6-yard line. And Trainer right into the heart of the defense.
Ran right where the blocked defender went. He had a coverage man crashing hard from the right, and the good block he got went for naught because he had nowhere else to go.
So the Raiders will come out at their own 17-yard line with 1:03 left in the half, and I'm guessing Coach Cowles is probably not going to get real aggressive here.
Well, the one thing too, you want to make sure you run out the clock. You know, Minnetonka's they have one timeout, or they have 2 timeouts left.
They'll give it to Demo.
Demo on the carry.
Demo ahead to
21.
around the 17-yard line. Checked at the 22. A gain of about 5. Clock rolling, 45 seconds left in the half. Raiders up 20-3. Yucatil going to go back under center here. And they will give it to Demo once again. And Demo's going to be close to a first down, just shy. Out to around the 28, 29-yard line.
And I don't know why they stopped the clock. Why did they stop the clock?
I'm with you, Joel. They did stop the clock for some reason with 30 seconds left, but it's rolling, and then they stopped it again.
You know, is Minnetonka taking a timeout, or what's the deal? They're going to measure?
They're going to look at it. Yep, they're going to measure it.
Timeout on the field. Measuring.
So they'll bring the chains out. See where we're at here. Going to be close, but I think we're just a hair shy.
I don't know where we're at with the play clock, but I got to believe if they don't get it, I would imagine Hudson will just let the clock expire rather than run the risk of having to have a 4th down play and have to. Ooh, they got it.
First down for Hudson. And if the Raiders have more than 27 seconds left in the play clock, you got to believe they're going to come to the line of scrimmage here. Let's see what they do. I think they may just knee it. They'll give it to Demo up the middle, and that's probably going to be the last play.
You know, I just don't understand those calls. You run the risk of a fumble. You know, just let the clock run out. You don't have to run a play.
That will be it for the first half. So all in all, a pretty successful first half of football for the Hudson Raiders to start their 2014 season. They will head to the locker room at halftime, leading it 20-3 over Minnetonka. Joel and I will be right back with the second half. Second half about to get started here at Newton Field in Hudson. The Hudson Raiders leading it 20-3 over Minnetonka. Raiders will kick off to start the second half. Minnetonka with an opportunity right away to get back into this football game. And I think the main thing here for Hudson is to be able to contain that kickoff and keep Minnetonka starting this drive on their own side of the field.
I think you're 100% right. That led to Minnetonka's only points was a big kick return, and that's really been the only chink in Hudson's defensive armor this game has been that one kickoff return. And, I'd like to just see more of the same that we saw in the first half. Solid defense, good blocking on the offensive line, and let's put this one to bed.
Really exciting season of Hudson Raider football about to start for us tonight. The first game here, non-conference slate. The conference schedule getting started in about 2 weeks, but if you want to catch these games and bring the magic home to you, you can pick up the DVD set from the River Channel. It's $125. You'll get the entire season. If you've got a youngster playing in football here and you want them to have some memories, something to look back on in 5, 10, 20 years, they'll be able to look back and see this season for $125. Makes a great Christmas gift, and just a fun way to be able to remember the season as you go on here.
Well, one of the things that the Raiders, the team's motto this year is the journey is the reward. And that's one thing really to capture that journey is to get those DVDs, because the players may not appreciate it the first year they're removed, but I guarantee you 3-4 years after they've been out of the program, they'll enjoy it, and parents will enjoy it right away.
If you want to find out more, call 715-386-0115, and we'll get you set up with the DVD set. Christian Bell set to kick.
There's a little bit deeper kick.
Line drive.
Oh, there we go.
Into the end zone. It'll be a touchback, and Minnetonka will start this series at the 20-yard line. So mission accomplished.
Just what the doctor ordered. Now, I do have a question for you, a rules question.
Okay.
Hopefully
I can answer it.
If the return man would have touched that ball before it goes into the end zone, it's still a touchback, correct? Because he didn't have control of it?
I'm going to say yes.
I think that's the rule in high school, too. I think you have to have control of it outside the end zone.
Sykes hands it off on the draw to Burns, and Burns, a nice run. Pickup of around 10 yards before Bryce Descharmes takes him down, but that will move the chains for Minnetonka. Needed 10, got 10, and really probably not an inch more.
Yeah, and I just, that was too easy. Hudson, their defensive line, for as much team speed as they have on defense, I think their defensive line is a bit undersized compared to years past. There's another inside handoff.
This time it's to Barnes, and Barnes picks up about 7. Burns and Barnes, 17 yards in 2 plays.
Second and 2. Ball's on the 38.
Hudson's got to find some way of stopping that inside running game. I don't know if it's going to have a linebacker blitz or bringing that safety up, but they've got to do something. Oh, we've got a flag now. That was before anything. I don't know. Interesting.
Must have been some kind of formation official on the far sideline didn't like. 5-yard penalty, and 2nd and 7 now coming up for Minnetonka. I would say the Raiders have definitely had the officials helping them out a little bit tonight.
Yeah, other than the one bad turnover call, it's been pretty much Raiders have got the benefit of most of the calls. Another handoff up the middle.
And Burns looked to be stymied, but fell forward for about a 4-yard gain.
Yeah, he got hit right away, but managed to fall forward, like you said, for about a 4-yard gain.
3rd down and 3 now coming up for Minnetonka. Raiders lead at 20-3, 10:36 left in the third quarter. Looking to get off the field here on defense, get that offense back on the field. 3 touchdowns tonight for the Raider offense. And they'll give it to Barnes around the right side. Barnes has got room. He's got a first down and more into Raider territory, down to around the 46-yard line, and Minnetonka starting to gather some steam.
And that was just, again, an inside run, and they're exposing that interior of Hudson's defense, and they're getting some big gains.
Mark it at the 48-yard line. Minnetonka will come out in the shotgun this time. And Raiders able to wrap up Sykes right around the line of scrimmage there on the quarterback keeper.
Ryan Ryder is one of those guys I talked about earlier in the game. He was one of the starters last year. Got a lot of playing time last year, and he really needs to step up at that defensive end position. Him and Holden Tim are the two defensive ends.
Pickup of about a half of a yard. Second down and long here. And they'll give it to Barnes, then kick it over to Cody, and Cody with a lot of room still on his feet, and he'll have the first down to around the 35-yard line. So they work the right side, and then that time they fake it to the right side, back over to the left side, and a big hole for Ian Cody.
Oh, and they got a penalty against Raiders besides. I didn't see what the penalty was, but they're marching off at the end of the run, so.
Going to be a 15-yard face mask, and that will set up Minnetonka inside the 20-yard line of Hudson.
This is that time now when that off defensive line, you got Tim Jensen at nose tackle and Reeder on the left defensive end side. They got to stiffen up here, and we got to make a stop.
9:16 left in the third quarter. Minnetonka trying to get some momentum here. They'll give it to Barnes, and Barnes going to be wrapped up after a short gain. Xander Motu on the tackle after a gain of about 3. Clock rolling, 8:46.
Xander Motu, a little different body type than his older brother.
You could say that.
Elliott was a standout nose tackle last year.
Sykes under center. Looking to throw. Under pressure, backing up, throws it. I think he's got his man. And he did. I think it's Jack Burns. Burns with a gain of about 3. He's going to bring up third down and 5. And
surprisingly, it keeps the clock going. Down under 8 minutes to go in the third quarter here. Minnetonka's controlled the ball for the whole third quarter so far.
Third down and 5. Sykes under center. They'll give it to Barnes. Nope.
Fumble!
Bring it back
Raiders
inside.
got it!
Fumble. Hudson Raiders come up with it. Another big turnover for the Hudson Raider defense.
Hudson got great pressure inside and disrupted that handoff, that inside handoff. Ball was loose. Hudson recovers.
Third turnover force, and he can tack on another one for a turnover on downs for this Hudson Raider defense. They've bent a few times tonight, but they've yet to break. And the Raider offense back on the field with 7:43 left, looking to add to a 20-3 lead.
Yeah, so now basically all that was Minnetonka shooting themselves in the foot, running off a lot of clock and not getting anything for it. Now the Raiders can take this ball and run out the rest of the third quarter. We'll be looking pretty good.
John Ucatil will go under center. And they're going to fake the handoff to Diemel. Ucatil gets it out to Weissemeyer. Weissemeyer able to slip a tackle, and he's going to take it out to around the 25-yard line. Should be a pickup of around 6.
And there was nobody on the coverage. He was all by himself out there in the flat. Once again, Ucatil puts the ball right where it's got to be.
2nd and 4. And they'll give it to Braden Marvin, and Marvin's going to be close to a first down. Going to depend on the spot.
Well, they stop the clock. They're going to say it's a first down.
Chain gang's walking, so it'll be a first down for the Raiders.
Boy, and they start the clock right away, too.
7:07 left in the third. First and 10 for Hudson at around their own 29-yard line. And they're going to give it to Diemel, and Diemel, not a lot of room there.
Swarm of skippers take Diemel down.
There'll be no gain on the play.
Second and 10, ball on the 29-yard line for the Raiders.
Raiders right back up to the line of scrimmage here on offense. Yucatil.
Uh-oh.
Kicks it out for Carranza. Ball gets loose. Carranza covers it up, but it's going to be a big loss. And that's kind of the one danger of this option offense is if you miss, it's going to be kind of a catastrophic loss.
Yeah, and that's that's like you said, that is the danger. But that's really the first bad pitch that we've seen from Johnny today.
Third down and around 19 now. From the 21-yard line. And they'll hand it off to Diemel, and Diemel's going to get 5 or 6 yards, keeps the clock rolling, and the Raider punt team will come onto the field.
Well, that's a big victory for Minnetonka. They're getting a quick turnover, getting the ball right back again, and they're going to get the ball back, I would imagine, with pretty decent field position.
Raiders did manage to run off. It's going to be about 3 minutes. Big thing here, once again, is getting some good punt coverage.
Yeah, that's the big thing, is don't give up the big play.
Trapiccio set to kick for Hudson. I believe it's Barnes deep.
Oh, short kick.
It's a high short kick, and it will take a Raider bounce down to around the 42-yard line.
Diemel right there, but I don't understand. I heard the sidelines calling fire, which means get away from the ball. Very fortunate that didn't hit a Raider and give the skippers an opportunity to pick it up and run with it.
So Minnetonka comes back out on offense. Pretty good field position at the 42. 5:02 left in the third quarter. Hudson Raider defense trying to hang on to a 20-3 lead over Minnetonka. And they're going to give it to a real big guy there. That's number 17, Josh Falk.
That's the defensive tackle we talked about, the opening of the game.
You know, in Pee Wee football, when they have that really big giant guy that runs all over the field, that's kind of what he looks like.
Well, he's 235 pounds. I think Hudson are going to face many bigger fullbacks than this.
Sykes looking to throw. Sykes taken down.
That's
Hudson Raiders. Wes Corum on the sack. Will bring up a 3rd and long.
Raiders with the sack, big loss for the Skippers. That brings up 3rd down and about 13. Ball's on the Skippers' 40-yard line.
That's the big play we're used to seeing out of this Raider defense.
3rd down and around 12. Coming up here for Minnetonka. Clock running at 4 minutes left in the third quarter. Sykes will go from the shotgun now. He's going to roll, throw it down the field, and it's going to be incomplete. Looking for Watt, and that will send the Minnetonka punt team back onto the field.
And Sykes is not happy with himself. He had the guy open and just overthrew the ball, and that's every pass he's thrown has just been either underthrown or overthrown. He's just
been pretty erratic tonight. It's going to be Lucas Trainer and Hami back to return this punt.
Let's not have a repeat of the last punt return. Ooh, that's a
line
low
drive stinker. And the Raiders are going to back away from it. Minnetonka will down the football at around the 21-yard line.
Yeah, it was an ugly punt, but effective.
That's kind of the way this quarter has really been for the Raiders. It's been pretty ugly but effective. They haven't given up anything. They haven't gained anything, but they've managed to run 8 minutes off the clock and get a little bit closer to a victory as long as they can hang on here.
And that's the thing now. It's just, let's run some clock. We can try a few things. It's just not getting anybody hurt.
Yucatil and company back onto the field. And Yucatil will swing it around the left side. Looking for holes, not finding much, kind of running out of room. They ran that option to the short side of the field.
Makes me nervous when I see him running over there and those chain gang don't drop those chains right away. It's an easy way for a running back or a defensive back to lose a knee by running into one of them chains, running into one of them posts.
Gain of nothing on the run. We'll try it again, 2nd and 10. Yucatil looking to throw. Now he's going to take it down, and he will start running. He's going to have the first down.
And again, the chains, don't drop the chains. He's running right at them, and they don't drop it.
Preseason for everybody tonight. I need to do a little training for the boys on the sidelines.
I think somebody needs to have a little chat with them.
First down for Hudson. Out to around the 33-yard line. And they're going to swing it around the edge of Braden Marvin. Marvin able to find a little gap, but nice pursuit from the backside there by Minnetonka. Will pull down Marvin after a very short gain.
That Marvin actually run down from behind. You don't see that very often.
This is a fast team. You can really see it on kick coverage, how much speed this Minnetonka team has. They'll give it to Marvin once again. This time he's met behind the line of scrimmage, and that's going to be a loss.
Hudson's offense, that did such a good job of blocking in the first half, is having struggles here in the second. Minnetonka definitely made some adjustments there at the half.
3rd and 10 now coming up for Hudson. Clock rolling, 2:25 left in the third quarter. Hudson Raiders leading at 20-3 over Minnetonka. Opening game of the season.
Johnny coming out of the pistol, one of the rare times.
Yucatil hits Demo. Demo able to make one guy miss, but he's going to go down after a short gain, pickup of around 3, and that will send the Raider punt team back onto the field. Clock under 2 minutes now in the third quarter. Raiders are probably going to have to score one more time to feel real comfortable. Minnetonka can get right back into this game with a few scores.
Well, the good news is they need 3 scores to win, and they need to have some other things happen as well with some 2-point conversions. But
Trapiccio set to punt.
But, oh,
high shanked kick. It's not going to get much out of that. And the Raiders really got the benefit of the doubt. Let's see where they mark it. That's still a pretty good mark for the Raiders considering where that ball went out of bounds. Minnetonka will start at their own 49-yard line.
You're very rarely going to hear me say the Raiders got a good spot, but I think they got a good spot there.
They got a real good spot there.
I'm in total concurrence with you on that one. I thought it was going to be on the Raiders side of the 50, but well, once again, the Raider defense gets a chance to step up here.
Raider offense did have a first down there, give them a little bit of a break. Now Sykes will roll around the right side. He's going to throw it downfield. He's got his man this time. It's Watt, and Watt's going to have a first down deep into Raider territory, down to around the 23-yard line.
And I think that's only a second completion of the game.
Yeah, they've been trying to do that all night long, and finally able to complete on that.
First and 10 on the 24-yard line of the Raiders.
Down to the 24-yard line, Minnetonka trying to pick up the pace. They're down 20-3. This time they'll throw it out there again. It's going to be incomplete. The coverage by Lucas Trainer. 2nd and 10 coming up, 1:08 left in the third quarter.
That was just good blanket-like coverage by Trainer on that pass play.
Watt. Watt was the intended receiver.
Minnetonka will make some substitutions. Burns comes back into the game.
And I think it goes without saying that we're in 4-down territory for the Skippers.
And they'll give it to Burns up the middle. Burns able to spin out of a tackle, and he's going to have a first down to around the 10-yard line. That'll move the chains once again.
That kind of looks like a man among boys.
That is another Skipper's first down.
So 1st and 10 from the 11-yard line. This is the EB zone here.
10 balls on the 11-yard line.
Yeah, you can get that first down, but we need to get something good's got to happen here.
They'll give it to Burns. Burns again spinning out of tackles. Raiders able to bring him down, but he's going to pick up probably 4 yards on that play. Brings up 2nd and 6.
Trainer on the tackle.
Clock rolling. 38 seconds left in the third quarter. Second and 6 from the 7-yard line for Minnetonka. Looking to get their first touchdown of the night late in the third quarter. They'll give it to Burns. Burns tries to hop over the heap.
I don't know what they're signaling touchdown for. He barely got over the 5-yard line. One of the Minnetonka offensive linemen lifted up his arms like it was a touchdown, and we're going, oh, he made it over the 5. Good.
Maybe they're confused about what that line meant. Third down and 4 coming up, but it's going to be the fourth quarter before we get there. We're going to come down to the other end of the field, so
I don't think I've ever seen that before.
it's the first game. It's the first game. Everybody's learning tonight.
Yeah.
So at the end of 3, it's Hudson 20, Minnetonka 3, but Minnetonka knocking on the door here. And as we mentioned earlier, it was a pretty effective half, and we don't like to see Minnetonka about to score here, but really they made it through the whole quarter there without giving up any scores. They didn't look pretty like they did in the first half, but they were able to keep them out of the end zone.
Yep, and I think the best thing that could really happen, as much as I hate to say it, best thing that could happen for Hudson as a team would be for Minnetonka to come back and make this a game. So Hudson's got to play the full game. They can't just – it looks to me like they've kind of rested here in the second half and not really giving it the same kind of effort that they did in the first half. But I'm sure Minnetonka definitely made some adjustments at the halftime that definitely were evident in that third quarter.
Seemed to control that line of scrimmage a lot better on both sides of the football there in Minnetonka in the third quarter compared to what it looked like in the first half. The Raiders pretty much did what they wanted to on offense in the first half.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think we're going to need another drive. We're going to need to get another good drive and another score just for me to feel good about this.
We've got a third down and call it 4 yards here. Well, third down and a long 3. Coming up for the Skippers. Definite 4-down territory. Crowd coming to their feet here at Newton Field. And they're going to fake the handoff. Looking to throw as Sykes tripped up, still looking to throw. Raiders putting on some pressure. Ball up for grabs.
No, he's out of the end zone.
What?
Oh, no! No way!
I was just about to say Watt caught it, but he was out of bounds.
No way was that a catch. He was out of bounds. That is a terrible call. Oh, my God. And the guy that called it a touchdown was on the other side of the field. The closest official didn't call it. It's the guy that's on the other side of the field that calls it a touchdown.
So Minnetonka.
That is just, what a terrible call.
Climbing back into the football game with that touchdown. Makes it 20-9. And Smith will come in to try to make it a 10-point game.
Oh,
Raiders
there's penalty. No, now we'll see if will they go for 2.
I don't think so.
Well, I guess they still got it.
You're still going to kick it here.
Yeah, so it's going to be a 9-point game. Doesn't really do anything more than a.
Half the distance.
Boy, that was a terrible call. That's two bad, really devastating calls that were going against Hudson. First one wasn't as bad because they didn't get the ball back and ended up scoring, but that one there was just brutal.
They line it up and kick it again, kicks it through, and with 11:46 left in the football game, Minnetonka has made it interesting. It's now 20-10, and the Hudson Raiders need to come up with a drive here. Even if you can't put it in the end zone, at least suck up about 7-8 minutes of clock would be nice.
Yeah, they need to do something. Minnetonka's pretty much, had their way with Hudson in the second half, other than the turnover where, Hudson got the ball back in their own territory where Minnetonka had a good drive going. Hudson's been pretty listless.
Gentlemen on the sideline, we're holding up those 4 fingers to signify the fourth quarter is ours. They got to make it happen right here.
Well, Hudson's always had good special teams as far as getting some good returns. They've always had some speedsters and guys that could, take the ball to the house. And the way Minnetonka lines up, they leave a pretty good gap on the near side of the field here along the sideline. And I've noticed that when they do kick it, they kick it to the other side. They kick it to what would be the kicker's left side of the field.
Lucas Trainer deep to receive the kickoff.
Ooh, booming kick.
Going to be fielded by Trainer. He fumbles, loses the handle, still losing the handle. I think he covered it up, but the Raiders going to be starting this drive from deep in their own territory now at the 5-yard line. Not what we needed there.
Nope, this is not what we want to see happen.
The officials will put it out at the 7. $11:40 left in the game.
Well, this is a must-drive situation for Hudson. They've got to get this ball out of their shadow of their own end zone and at least get it out to midfield so they can at least, kick it deep and make Minnetonka go the length of the field. Try drawing them off sides there. Doesn't fool the defense that time.
They're going to give it to Diemel, and Diemel. No, check that. They run the option around the edge.
There he goes! Marvin! No one's going to catch him! Oh! Look at that flag! He threw it! Oh, no! Oh, my God! He threw that flag 30 yards.
Braden Marvin into the end zone, but the referee.
You got to be kidding me. How can that ref
back.
make that call? There's 3 officials closer to the play, and he makes it? That is terrible.
There is a second flag on the field, though. But what would have been a highlight reel touchdown is going to be half the distance back toward the Raider goal line. Great play call. Everybody, including the camera guy, thought it was up the middle to Diemel.
Legal forward, 2 fouls on the play. The block to the back is declined and legal pass is accepted. Loss it down.
So
Well,
they decline the holding.
if that was a forward lateral, it is a illegal forward pass.
And it was deemed an illegal forward pass. And the Raiders will run it once again with Johnny Ucatil.
Boy.
Ucatil with a nice gain.
So what would have been the play of the game is called back because of 2 penalties on the Raiders.
And the sad thing about that illegal forward pass is it looks like the down counted.
Yeah, it is. It's a loss of down.
Yeah, so not only did you lose the yardage, you lose the play, but you also lose the down. 3rd and 5 coming up for Hudson. Ucatil set to throw, and it's going to be incomplete.
Oh, now we got a flag down here. What do we got now? Illegal man downfield.
Going to be a hold, and it's going to be declined. Raider punt team will come onto the field.
Boy, what a turn of events.
Not able to take much time off the clock either. Less than a minute off the clock on that Raider drive. And that was about as big a disaster as you can have without turning the football over.
And that's just, I mean, how demoralizing. I will say, though, when I saw that pitch, I was kind of wondering, it looked almost a little forward, but I didn't have a good angle, and that penalty doesn't bother me as much as that guy calling that block in the back from 30 yards away. That's ridiculous. It's not his call.
A nice punt this time, but Minnetonka will have an opportunity to return it. They'll take it out to around the 38-yard line.
Well, Minnetonka with a chance to get right back in this game. The Raiders really showed no ability other than the turnover to stop Minnetonka in this half.
Raiders, if you can cling to a 10-point lead, they are clinging to a 10-point lead right now. 10:38 left in the game. Minnetonka trailing 20-10, but with the football well into Hudson Raider territory. Sykes from the shotgun.
There's
Sykes
a hold!
throw.
That's a hold!
Sykes in trouble, but he will get out of it, turns the corner, and he's got the first down and more inside the 20-yard line. So first and 10 now, down to the 24.
Minnetonka's lineman pulling the Hudson defender down by the shoulder pads and doesn't get a call right in front of the referee.
Maybe he's looking 30 yards down the field.
This is, you know, I take back everything good I said about the officials in the first half.
Sykes from the shotgun.
There, what's that?
And they
How
will
is
run
that not
the
a
screen.
hold? He threw him down by the jersey.
Motu reading that play perfectly. It's a 2-yard loss.
When you see a defensive lineman's jersey stretched about a foot away from his body, it's a hold.
Second and 12 coming up.
Well, if there's any justice in the world at all, Hudson's going to get a turnover here.
And they'll run it around the left side with Cody. Cody's going to get probably 6.
Well, this is going to be 4-down territory, so get 2 more downs.
Third down and about 7 coming up here. Clock rolling, 9:25 left in the football game. Hudson leads it 20-10, but Minnetonka making their way down the field now just outside the 20-yard line. 3rd and 7. They're going to fake the handoff to Burns, and they're going to throw it into the end zone. It's going to be incomplete, and that will bring up 4th down for Minnetonka.
Well, you try another field goal?
Then you're definitely looking at 40 from there. You're right, they will need it. Not sure if he can make it. Going to leave the offense in.
That's kind of surprising, that last play call, because if they would have gotten another 5 or 6 yards, it would have made the field goal a lot more doable.
4th down and 7. Big spot here for the Hudson Raider defense. Sykes from the shotgun. Sykes under some pressure. And the Raiders are going to bring him down.
Big sack.
Holden Tim comes up big in a big spot for the Hudson Raiders. That was a spot where they needed a stop in the worst way, and they got one.
Plus, he gained 15 yards for the offense.
Exactly. So the Raider offense will come onto the field now with pretty good field position, 32-yard line.
Well, maybe gained 8 yards for the offense. They would have had it about the 25 to 24.
Raider pass rush has been pretty good. They've kept Sykes under pressure for much of the night.
They've just been just a little bit shy getting there. That was when they needed to get there. That's a big play by Holden Tim.
32-yard line. The Raiders will start it.
The defensive line must have heard my rant earlier when I said they had to step up and start playing a little better. And there you go. That's a huge play. Well, we got a timeout, Hudson.
And the Raiders will have to
All right.
burn a timeout.
8:51 to go.
It's Hudson's first timeout call to the second half. They get 2 left.
No, that was a great defensive stand by the Raiders right there. Got good pressure on Sykes, forced him into a bad throw into the end zone, and then got the sack on him on 4th down. Now if we get the offense going here to get a little drive going and click off about 50 or 60 yards anyway.
Last year, the Raiders started the season at Minnetonka and at Shakopee. This year, home against Minnetonka, home against Shakopee. Next Thursday night, August 28th, here at Newton Field.
It's Chanhassen.
Chanhassen. Sorry, I get those two places confused.
They're close together. They're right there next to each other.
That's why I have you right beside me, Joel. And the Raiders.
Hey! There's another flag.
You don't want to come out of the timeout not knowing the snap count, but
well. And I don't understand why the official on this side threw his flag a minute after the flag was thrown. I thought he was going to throw on the Minnetonka defender for giving him the business.
So 1st and 10 turns into a 1st and 15. Marvin into motion. Raiders trying to get that 5 back. They don't get it there. Now Yucatil will reset the offense, and they will kick it out to Carranza, and Carranza's going to get around the 30 down to around the 32, and it's going to be a gain of about 5.
Yeah, they got 4 of them, 4 or 5 back.
I'll give him a gain of 6.
Right, 6 yards. We'll take that.
2nd down and 9 coming up now for Hudson.
Bad thing is it stopped the clock.
And Yucatil throws it over the middle.
He had him. The first errant throw of the night, and he had a guy open. That would have been a big play. Boy, that's one they needed to hit.
Looking for Jamison Krause, going to be incomplete. 3rd down and 9 coming up. And now you're in a situation where if you run it here, there's not much opportunity to get something going. But if you throw it and it's incomplete, you basically take no time off the clock again.
Yeah, we just got to get it and not worry about it.
They'll run the screen, and in and out of the hands of Weissemeyer, and that will stop the clock. 8:37. Raiders.
And just as effective as they were in the first half, they just cannot seem to get things going here in the second half. That was a easy pitch and catch and just dropped the ball. I don't think he would have got the first down, but he would have probably would have got to the 40.
At least would have kept the clock rolling. Clock stopped now once again. 8:37. That was not a very effective drive. They started it with a 5-yard loss on a false start coming out of the timeout. Get a 6-yard gain, but run out of bounds. Then 2 straight incompletions. Ran almost 0 clock in that drive. Nearly blocked. It's going to be a pretty good punt. Mosley picks up about 5 on the return.
31-yard line. That's where the Skippers will take over. 1st and 10 on their own 31. Tackled by number 30, Bryce Duchard.
So Minnetonka will come out in this series from their own 30. 8:26 left in the game. Raiders still lead it 20-10. Have yet to be able to get anything going here in the second half.
It's like Johnny Yucatil is getting a little medical attention there on the sidelines because he's got a bit of a bloody nose. Let's hope that's all it is.
And Minnetonka will take it around the edge, but I think that one's going to come back.
Or a hold.
First out of bounds by Trainer.
Going to be a hold, and it'll be a 10-yard penalty. It'll set up first down and 20 now for the Skippers.
Holding on the play.
Well, let's have another defensive stand like that last one.
Nice down and distance here for the Raiders. First and 20 for Minnetonka.
And as fast as the first 3 quarters of this game went, this fourth quarter has really slowed down to a slow crawl.
Sykes will set up from the shotgun. Will roll to his right. Raiders put some pressure on him. He gets it away. It's going to be incomplete.
That was probably the best thing he could have done, throwing that incomplete, because that stops the clock. They weren't going to get any yards with the completion anyway, but it might have kept the clock going.
I think he was pretty surprised when he turned around. There's 2 blue shirts standing there.
He should have been sacked. Corum did a nice job of keeping his feet, not losing his feet, but instead of pushing him, he should have wrapped him up and tackled through him.
Second and 20 for Minnetonka. And they'll give it to Burns. Burns with a lot of room. Still on his feet. It's going to be a nice gain.
Tackled by number 23, Trainer.
Probably, wow,
Gain of about 18
Well,
on that.
15 yards. 17 yards on that run.
33, 32, balls on the 39-yard line.
That was rough. Third down and a short 3 for Minnetonka. Sykes from the shotgun. He'll roll left. He's under some pressure, but it's going to take off. He's going to have the first down and more.
Sykes carries the ball out of bounds. First down, Skippers ran out of bounds by Wes Corum.
Seen that a lot from him tonight. Gets into trouble. He tucks it in and takes off.
First and 10 for the Skippers, balls on their
So a second and 20 evaporates, and it's first and 10 for Minnetonka out to the 44-yard line.
And they've only run about 30 seconds off the clock.
And they'll give it to Barnes. Barnes loses his feet.
carry.
I don't understand what brought him down. I think he tripped over part of the H.
Number 44,
Gain of 4.
Ryder.
That keeps the clock running. Minnetonka does need to score twice, so they're not showing a whole lot of urgency with only 7.5 minutes to go.
Balls on the 47-yard line.
Sykes back under center. And they'll give it to Barnes once again. Barnes making men miss, and now he's off to the races.
There's the touchdown.
And Sykes will go into the end zone, and that's going to make it a 4-point game with an opportunity to make it a 3-point game.
Barnes on the carry, touchdown.
Well, now the offense has to produce.
53-yard carry.
I think they've had 2 first downs here in the second half, and they're going to have to do better than that on this drive. Minnetonka makes it a 1-score game with 7 minutes left.
And that's the way they've gotten their big gains, is by running up the middle and cutting it to the outside. And there's nobody at home. And, you know, what I thought was going to be an asset for Hudson was their team defensive speed. They've been outmatched by Minnetonka tonight.
It was up and it's good. 7 minutes and 2 seconds left.
Smith will kick it through and make it 20-17. There is a good chance that this is probably the fastest team Hudson will face until they get deep into the playoffs, but you don't like to see your guys chasing people down the field. Raider offense, with 7 minutes left in the game, is going to have to generate something on this drive.
It's going to have to start with getting a decent kick return here. Not bobbling ball. Let's get back out over the 20.
has not been a pretty first half for Hudson after a second half or a first half that was not flawless, but pretty close to it. They've pretty much been the polar opposite here in the second half. Raiders now definitely clinging to a lead. Lucas Trainer deep to receive this kick from Smith. And Trainer's going to get it around the 5-yard line. He'll cut it back, slips through some tackles, makes another guy miss.
Oh, baby!
He's on his way, and will take it to nearly midfield out to the 45-yard line, and that's what the doctor ordered.
Oh, looks like we had somebody down. Oh, he's. Well, what looked like it was going to be a tackle for a short return ended up being a nice return and got it all the way up to the 45.
So the Raider offense will come onto the field with a very short field in front of them. 55 yards to pay dirt. 6:48 left in the game, leading by 3. It's time to make it happen right here.
And now how big is that missed extra point now?
Looming large. Ucatil will work under center, Diemel behind him. Run Marvin in motion, they're going to give it to Diemel, and Diemel goes basically nowhere.
Unblocked.
Pickup of about a half of a yard. Six and a half left in the contest.
Got news for you guys. You got to block the defensive end.
They're going to give it to Diemel again. This time, able to get across the 50. Pickup of a little more than 5 yards is going to bring up a third down and around 4.
It's a big down for the Raiders here. I don't think they'll be going for it on 4th down.
3rd and 4, Ucatil from the pistol. They'll run Marvin in motion. Ucatil looking to throw. He's going to pitch it out to this edge. It's going to be Marvin. Marvin has the first down. Out to around the 41-yard line. It'll move the chains for the Raiders.
I think that shows you the kind of confidence they have in John when allowing him to throw that pass after he's had a couple of errant ones this half. Throws the ball when he has to, makes a nice completion, gets the first down.
It's a nice pass to gain some confidence, too. A pretty easy pass to complete. Marvin's out there in the flats by himself, and it picks up a first down for the Raiders. Down to the 40. And they'll give it to Diemel. Diemel able to slide past some tacklers. Nice run there by Dayton Diemel. It'll be a gain of around 6 or 7 yards.
This is the time we need that offensive line for Hudson to take over and just manhandle them and push this ball down the field.
They'll give him 6. It's 2nd down and 4. Clock rolling. 5:15 left in the game. Hudson up by 3. And they're going to fake the handoff to Diemel, but Ucatil had nowhere to go. Going to be a short loss. Lose about a half a yard. 3rd and 5 coming up.
3rd and 5, guys, on the 35-yard line.
Looks like a Minnetonka player is down over there. Nope, I was looking at a Hudson Raider helmet. I thought I was looking at Minnetonka shoulder pads, but it was a Hudson Raider helmet.
I'm like, they haven't stopped the clock. That's
Ucatil under center, 3rd down and 5. They're going to fake the handoff. Ucatil looking to throw, and he's going to throw it downfield.
Yes,
wide open, Weissemeyer. Touchdown, Raiders. Minnetonka bought the run all the way Wiesemeyer was wide open down the sideline, and you could tell. Nice pass down the edge, and the Hudson Raiders back into control of the football game, 26-17.
I wanted to spell one rumor right now. John Ucatel does not have happy feet. He's showing a ton of poise tonight in that pocket, holding on to that ball, faking the handoffs, throwing those passes, and he's been under some duress.
He's looked awfully good to me, and as I stated before, I think this is going to be probably the best defense Hudson will face until we get into late October. And Bell kicks it through, and the Raiders get the 10-point lead back. Flag on the play. And it's going to be
roughing the kicker.
Roughing.
That'll be marked off on the kickoff too, so that'll give Hudson even a little bit better opportunity here.
Hopefully that will take the kick return out of this next play, and Bell with the extra yardage, hopefully he can put it into the end zone.
Do an onside kick.
You like excitement, don't you, Joel?
Hey, now we're up by 2 scores again, man. Let's get the ball back and end this thing.
4:14 left in the game. Hudson Raiders up 27-17. Starting to bite some nails there, but
you know, I really think, as much as I hated it, I think that was good for Hudson. I think it was good for their defense. It was really good for their offense to have to go down and make that drive and have to score.
And they did.
And they did. They rose to the occasion, and that's all you can ask of your team. When you get your back against the wall, you rise to the occasion, and they did a great job.
Raider defense come up with 2 turnovers tonight in their own red zone as well. Both these teams, the offense and the defense, have faced some adversity tonight, and both of them have come up big, even though they've had some bumps. But it's the first game.
Yeah, it is the first game.
We've had a few bumps tonight too.
We'll always have that.
With that penalty, Raiders will kick off on the skipper's 45-yard line.
I'm telling you, Chris, I think an onside kick or a pooch kick or something.
It's probably not a bad idea. If you don't get it, what do you give up? Not much.
You kick it up in the air, try to kick it high up in the air to rope out the 35-yard line and let your guys run underneath it. Or not to the 25-yard line, excuse me. You know, if you got that play in your playbook.
Kick return team ready to go. Barnes back deep.
But then you just kick it up through the end zone and hopefully let them start at the 20.
Make them go 80 yards.
I go for the onside kick, pooch kick. No,
and they're
they
going to
opt for the latter.
Blast it into the end zone. Your way was more exciting, but that might have been the right way to go about it.
That's why
we're talking about that injury thing, and so Minnetonka will come onto the field trailing by 10, 4:14 left in the fourth quarter. Definitely not over, but I would say the Raiders can start to feel a little more comfortable than they did 2 minutes ago.
The Raiders had their football helmet blitz this summer and fall, and they were trying to raise money to buy these new helmets to try to prevent some of the concussions that we see in football. And their goal was to raise $30,000 to buy 100 helmets. Well, they ended up buying 140 helmets. So that tells you how much money they raised. This community really rallied to support this team, and I think that's a indicator of just how good this program has gotten over the years.
Pickup of 10 there. Sets up a 1st and 10. A big thanks to everybody in the community who continues to support this football team.
Tick, 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 tick.
Cody picks up about 5, but clock ticking, 3:40 left in the game. Sykes will throw it downfield, going to be incomplete.
Incomplete, intended for Watts. Bouchard on the defense for the Raiders.
3rd and 5 coming up for Hudson.
Brings up 3rd down. 3rd and 5.
3:33 left in the game. And they'll give it to Barnes. And Barnes is going to be a little short.
Tackled by Bortu
4th down and
and Koski.
about a yard.
4th down.
And it looks like they're going to go for it. Why not? Clock rolling, 3:15. 4th down and 1.
Fumble!
Ball on the ground.
Oh,
and Seitz
no!
rolls out of a tackle.
Oh, they had him!
Gary Sykes clears ball for a first down
Oh.
for the Skippers.
Oh, they had the last nail teed up and ready to drive it home, and
Sykes was as good as mustard and rolled out of that one. And 1st and 10.
oh, the ball was on the ground. How did he get it back up and get that first down?
Set to throw. Throw it downfield. Down the left side, incomplete.
Ball's incomplete. Taylor
Boy,
for Barnes.
It looked like that receiver.
Reed Junko on the defense for the Raiders. Brings up 2nd and 10.
Coverage over there by Reed Junko.
Boy, that receiver held up on that. It looked like he could have ran that out, made an attempt at catching that. I don't know, maybe it was. It's hard to tell on that side of the sidelines how close they are to the sidelines, but it was overthrown, but not as bad as somebody's thrown tonight.
2nd down and 10.
I can say one thing, so I don't think this will be the best quarterback Hudson faces all year.
Hudson, that's their 2nd of the half.
Probably not. Sykes is he can run the football. He's a powerful runner, but he's been really erratic throwing the football tonight.
And you look at a couple of quarterbacks in the big rivers. You know, you got the Eau Claire schools that both have, you know, quarterbacks coming back.
Menominee always seems to be able to throw the football around.
Superior's going to have a 2-year starter coming back. It's the Big Rivers Conference isn't the doormat that it used to be.
Definitely not. Yeah.
You know, we always talk about Rice Lake. You know, I think this may be the one year when we may be expecting a lot out of Rice Lake to rise to the occasion, but I think they lost a lot of their skilled players last year. But you never know. You never know how things are going to shake up. You don't, because you're not around the programs, you don't know what they have coming up.
In a lot of these programs, bigger schools, just like Hudson, the guys that were playing last year, the guys we're going to play against this year were standing on the sidelines last year.
Yep.
And you don't know what those guys are going to be when they get their chance.
Yep. But they've been practicing with the varsity all the time, and they're, you know, getting in on those late games when they're in kind of mop-up duty or, you know, playing scout team for the defense, for the first defense.
Raiders had called timeout. 2nd and 10 now for Minnetonka. Sykes going to throw deep down the sideline once again. It's going to be incomplete.
You got to be kidding me. That's a crap call. He's got just as much right to that real estate as the wide receiver does.
They flag John Cryer there.
Holding against the Raiders.
Going to be a hold against Hudson.
But I believe it'll be an automatic first down.
Be a 10-yard pickup for the Skippers, and that'll give them a fresh set of downs. 1st and 10, 2:47 left in the game. Hudson leading it by 10. Certainly can't stop playing here, leading by 10. And they'll try it again. It's going to be incomplete.
Yes, incomplete.
I mean, all Minnetonka has to do is get one score, and we're interesting once again.
How did that play only take 5 seconds off the clock?
Junko running in stride with the Minnetonka receiver on that play. 2nd and 10. Sykes getting set to throw, under pressure, throws it away. And
where's the flag on that?
Yeah,
there's nobody even close.
I don't think he even got it back to the line of scrimmage. Yeah,
there
there's
you
the flag.
go.
They talked it over, and it's going to be grounding. Sykes comes over to plead his case.
That's a loss of down, too.
Intentional grounding called against the Skippers.
So that's
third down.
going to bring up.
I believe it's a spot foul as well, so it'll be
3rd and very long. Keep on marching. Going to be about a 3rd and 28 coming up here for Minnetonka. Well, you got 3rd and 28, Joel. You got to come up with a stop here.
Well, my guess is they're going to throw it.
You got 2 plays to close this game out right here. 3rd and 28. Sykes will set up from the shotgun. 3 receivers to the left, 1 receiver to the near side. Sykes will wind up, and now he's going to pull it down, and he's going to go down. Motu will bring him down. And one thing that, we learn stuff in these first games. What I learned tonight is the Raiders have a definite playmaker on defense in Mr. Motu.
Yes.
He is sniffing out the ball all over the field tonight. You always wonder coming into these new seasons, who's going to be the guy to step up? Who are we going to call his name frequently through the season? And I got a feeling we're going to say Motu a lot this year.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. He's really stepped up his game. He got some playing time at the end of the season last year, and he made some plays, but he's definitely shown himself as a top-notch linebacker tonight.
Minnetonka calls timeout. They've got 4th down and 27 coming up.
And I know his mom is probably somewhere here in the stands covering her eyes.
Fourth and 27. The defense can close it out right here. Sykes winding up. He's going to throw it across the middle. Nearly caught. Flag flies, though.
Oh, there's a flag. There's a flag.
I think they're going to get Koski. Koski at least is the one that's trying to talk the official out of something.
I want to say that's an automatic first down. Is it holding or interference?
Now he's having a discussion over there. Well, looks like they're going to march it off. Joel, if he held him, he should have caught the football.
No, it's a 15-yard penalty. What in the world is a 15-yard penalty? It's got to be pass interference.
Well, if you're going to interfere somebody, you did a pretty poor job because that guy was still stride for stride with the football. They'll try it again. 4th down and 12 this time.
They got half of what they needed.
Sykes once again from the shotgun. Sykes plenty of time, steps up, throws, and I believe he's got it. Watts catches the football at the 30. That will move the chains once again. Clock stopped at 2:11, but it will start as soon as the chains are ready to go. Raiders up by 10. Minnetonka trying to get something going here. Sykes going to throw it once again. It's going to be incomplete. Looking for Watts again. Coverage over there by Lucas Trainer.
And I don't know whose the job it is to be watched for the holding, but Holden Tim almost had his jersey ripped off his shoulder pads there, and they don't call it.
Second and 10.
Still have over 2 minutes to go.
Sykes throwing it down the near side this time, and it's going to be caught.
No, he caught it.
Forced out of bounds at around the 3-yard line, and that will set up Minnetonka with a 1st and goal. 1:56 left in the game. Hudson up by 10. They'll mark it at the 3-yard line.
Hudson's got a man down. It looks like, is it Koski? Somebody's on the track over there. It looks like they had a cramp.
First and goal from the 3 for Minnetonka.
If they run it, let's at least stop them one time here. Run off some of the clock.
And they'll give it to Cody, and Cody is going to be close.
Short. Okay. No.
40 on the carry.
Who called the timeout? Oh, Minnetonka.
Minnetonka calls a timeout to stop the clock.
And they'll have one left.
1:48 left in the game. Making it interesting again, Joel.
Well, I think mathematically, I got to believe that if they do score on this play, that's got to run off a couple of seconds. The kickoff's got to run off another 10. With only one timeout, the Hudson's going to have to get a first down.
Probably going to see an onside kick
I would imagine.
if Minnetonka is playing to win, which they appear to be.
Well, let's see if this defense can rise to the occasion. And
2nd and goal from a 1.5 yards out. One receiver to the near side. Sykes will go under center.
quarterback sneak.
Give it to the big guy, Burns. And that's what they do when Burns is into the end zone.
Untouched.
Burns with the touchdown, Skippers.
So that will cut the lead back down to 4 with an opportunity to cut it to 3. 1:45 left in the game.
Smith gets up the extra point for the Skippers.
It's going to come down to an onside kick.
Let's maybe let's get a hand on this or have him botch this kick. Oh, Hudson jumped.
Smith's kick is up. And it's good.
Kick
they
is
call
good.
Okay, it's a 3-point game again.
Make it 27-24. And it's going to be incredibly difficult for Minnetonka to get into this game by kicking this away. 1:45 left and one timeout.
Once again, that was our R3 group. Reuse, recycle.
Well, the bottom line is Hudson's either got to get a first down or Minnetonka's get the ball back with some time left.
Not much, but they will have some time left.
But first thing is it's got to be they got to get the ball.
Yep.
And they've got their hands team out there. There's not a number over 30 on the field. Oh, 35.
Looks like the Raiders are going to send Hami deep, but everybody else,
Now, there's nobody back deep.
I hope he backs up here. Everybody else within 6 yards of the 50-yard line. They do run the onside. Raiders
They got
get the
it.
football.
Smith with the outside kick.
No, the ball was down. No, no way. The whistle was blown.
Scrum down there, a pile, but no doubt the Raiders came up with the football.
Okay, a minute 43. It's a 45-second clock, correct?
I believe that was Nick Holm that came up with it.
And they got one timeout. You got to get a first down.
First and 10 for the Raiders on their own 30 to 49-yard line.
So the Raiders will set up shop at the 48-yard line. 1:43 left in the game. Up by 3. Need a first down. Can't have a turnover. They led this game 20-3 at the half. And they'll give it to Demel, and Demel's going to fight for yardage. Probably going to get 2.
Tackled by number 6.
And I believe Minnetonka
Burned their last time out.
burned their last time out. Will stop the clock with 1:36 left. I think you're going to see a pretty vanilla playbook here for the next 2 plays. You're run it down to around 20 seconds left in the game, even if you do nothing with the football.
I think I'd be tempted to try something wide at least to take a little more few seconds off the clock. Running up the middle, you know, you're shortening up the length of the play. I wouldn't maybe necessarily do a pitch, but I'd maybe do a
sweep around the edge.
Well, you know, do that, you know, fake handoff and then hand it off to the guy coming in motion around the side, and maybe you can catch him sleeping and get a nice gainer. All you need is one.
1:36 left.
All you need is 9 yards.
Second down and 8. Ucatil barking out some new signals. And they're going to give it to Diemel. Diemel up
First,
the middle.
oh, he's going to be close.
Going to be real close to the first down. I think he's going to be about a yard short, but.
Oh, Minnetonka's going to play her hurt. Oh, come on. Get him off and start the clock. Well, they get the same amount of time on the play clock because it's play clock stop too.
So they just started the play clock and the game clock. 1:20 left, and the Raiders are going to let some time roll off this clock.
They can get it down under a minute, well under a minute.
Third down and a short 3 coming up for Hudson. Ucatil up to the line. Now he'll come back. Raiders try to draw him off sides there. And they'll give it to Diemel again. Diemel's got the first down.
That's your ball game, folks.
Time for the victory formation. Dayton Diemel 3 times gets the Raiders 13 yards. And now we'll line up in the victory formation, snap it twice, and call it a night.
And that all's on that offensive line, that left side offensive line. Got the push that they needed, got the yardage, got them the first down to end this game. They got to snap the ball one time.
And Ucatil will knee it, and that's going to do it. Crowd here at Newton Field comes to their feet.
Well, this team's already done something last year's team couldn't do. That's beat Minnetonka.
Beat Minnetonka, open up the season. Raiders started off the year 0-1 before running off 11 straight victories. This year, the Raiders opened the season with a victory, 27-24 over Minnetonka. Next week, it's a Thursday game against Chanhassen right back here at Newton Field. The cool thing, Joel, and I'm sure you know this, but we don't play Menominee the last game of the season this year.
That's kind of disappointing in a way.
Chanhassen will be here next week, then we go on the road to Superior, and then right back here in September, second conference game of the season, we'll take on Menominee, which really for the last few years has kind of been that late season classic here in the Big Rivers. They shuffled up the schedule again this year, and looking forward to a fun football season. And from what I've seen so far tonight, I think this Hudson Raider football team is going to be another exciting one.
And, you know, I really like this matchup. I like Hudson playing Minnetonka. Minnetonka is a class program in the Twin Cities. You know, maybe they are down a little bit this year over, you know, previous years. But, and, you know, they're coming over. They're getting a quality game. And it's a good game for both teams because they both kind of get a chance to assess where they're at. You know, these guys can go back and say, you know, this is where we need to improve on before we get into our conference schedule. Hudson now has a chance to, you know, assess where they're at. And I'm sure that Coach Cowles will find plenty of things to coach about after this game. But, hey, they got to win, and a win's a win, and they're undefeated.
Absolutely. Raiders start off the schedule 1-0. For Joel Eby, I'm Chris Larson. Thanks for watching Hudson Raider football on the River Channel. The Hudson Raiders victorious tonight, 27-24 over Minnetonka. We'll see you next week.